श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्दा गोविन्दा सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। नमो नमः सद्गुरुभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो नमः सद्गुरुभ्यो नमो नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव। पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। यस्वानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपम् अतितितीर्षतां तमोऽन्धं संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुमुपयामि गुरुं मुनीनां। योगीन्द्राय नमस्तस्मै शुकाय ब्रह्मरूपिणे संसारसर्पदष्टं यो विष्णुरातममुमुचत्। कालव्यालमुखग्रास त्रासनिर्नाशहेतवे श्रीमद्भागवतं शास्त्रं कलौकीरेण भाषितम्। एतस्मादपरं किञ्चित् मनःशुद्ध्यै न विद्यते। जन्मान्तरे भवेत् पुण्यं तदा भागवतं लभेत्। ज्ञानवैराग्यसम्पूर्णान् हरिभक्तिपरायणान् पूर्वाचार्यातहं वन्दे सम्प्रदायप्रवर्तकान्। भगवन्नाम साम्राज्य लक्ष्मी सर्वस्व विग्रहं श्रीमद्बोधेन्द्र योगीन्द्र देशिकेन्द्रम् उपास्महे। कलिकालोचितं धर्मं नाम संकीर्तनात्मकं निर्णेतुमवतीर्णं तं प्रेमिकं सद्गुरुं भजे। हरे रामेति कृष्णेति नाम संकीर्तनं सदा लोकक्षेमाय कुर्वन्तं प्रेमिकं सद्गुरुं भजे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयात् इतरतश्चार्तेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्। श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषिभिस्तत्क्षणात्। निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखाद् अमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। श्रीमद्भागवताख्योऽयं प्रत्यक्षः कृष्ण एव हि स्वीकृतोऽसि मया नाथ मुक्त्यर्थं भवसागरे। मनोरथो मदीयोऽयं सफलः सर्वदा त्वया निर्विघ्नेनैव कर्तव्यो दासोऽहं तव केशव। श्रीहरे नमः श्रीहरे नमः श्रीहरे नमः। गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्दा गोविन्दा सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so we'll do a review of 8, I think from stanza 6 of 3.8. So Madhu, you can do one half, and then Vijaya, if you can do one half. So 17 stanzas each. Ninga first pandrela Madhu.
Yeah.
From stanza.
मुहुर्गृह्णन्तो वचसानुरागश्रलत्वतेनास्य कृतानि तज्ञाः किरीटसाहस्रमणिप्रवेक प्रत्योदिदोद्दामबनासहस्रं प्रोक्तं किलैतत् भगवत्तमेन निवृत्तिधर्माभिरदायदेन सनत्कुमाराय ससागपृष्टः साङ्ख्यायनायाङ्गधृतव्रताय साङ्ख्यायन पारमहंस्य मुख्यो विवेक्षमाणो भगवद्विभूतिः जगादशोस्मत् कुरवे विदाय Parasharayad Brihaspatescha
The first main line, Madhu, just after the comma, that word Bibakshamano.
Vivakshamano. Okay. Provachamagyam sadayalurukto munif pulasthena puranamadyam soham tavedat kadayami vatsa shraddalave nityam anuvradaya udaplutam vishwamidam tadasita yannitrayami litadrunya मीलयत् अगीन्द्रतल्पेदि शयान एकः कृतक्षणस्वात्मरदौ निरीहः सोन्दशरीरेऽर्पितभूतसूक्ष्मः कालात्मिकां उदीरयानः उवास तस्मिन् सलिले पदे स्वे यदा नलो दारुनिरुद्धवीर्यः सदुर्युगानां सहस्रमप्सु स्वपन् स्वयोधिर्हृदया स्वशक्त्या कालाख्ययाशात् इदकर्मदन्द्रो लोकानवीदान्त्रदुषे स्वदेहे तस्यात् सुष्माभिनिविष्टदृष्टेः अन्तर्कदोर्दो रजसादनीयान् गुणेन कालानुकदेन विद्धः सूष्यंस्तदा भिद्यदनाभिदेशात् सपत्मकोशसगसोददिष्टत् कालेन कर्म प्रतिबोधनेन स्वराशिषा तत्सलिलं विशालं विद्योदयन् अर्घ इवात्मयोनिः
The second line, first word, Swarochisha.
Okay. स्वरोजिषा तत्सलिलं विशालं तल्लोकपद्मं स उएव विष्णुः प्राविविशत् सर्वगुणावपासं तस्मिन् स्वयं वेदमयो विधाता स्वयंभुवं यं स्म वदन्ति सोऽभूत् तस्यां स साम्बोरुह कर्णिकायाम् अवस्थितो लोकम् अपश्यमानः परिक्रमन् व्योमि विवृत्तनेत्रः सत्वारि लेभेनुदिशं मुखानि तस्मात् युगान्तस्वसनावपूर्णजलोर्मिचक्रात् सलिलात् विरूढम् उभांश्रितः कञ्जमुलोकतत्त्वं नात्मानम् अद्धा विदधादिदेवः.
The second line, first word, or im sound I heard. There is no im there, just upashrita.
Upashrita. Okay. Upashrita kanjamulogatatva. Okay. कयेष योऽसौ अहमब्जभृष्टे एतत् कुतो वाब्जम् अनन्यतप्सु अस्ति यदस्तादिककिञ्चदैतत् अधिष्ठितं यत्र सदानुभाव्यं.
And the first line, Madhu, and the yosau ahamabja are the right two words, but that au and a becomes that yosava, right?
Oh,
And
yosava. Yeah, okay. Sorry.
so kayesha yosava
Kayesha yosava ahamabja. Okay.
So that is what you said is correct, but it always gets joined in sandhi.
Okay. Osava. Okay. Sayiddhamudvikshya tadabjanalanaadibirandarjalamavivesh narvakadastat karanalalanabim vichinvamstadavindarat tajaha tamasya bare viduratmasargam vichinvado bhutsumaham strinebihi yodegabhajam bayamirayanaga परीक्षिणोद्यायुर् अजस्य हेतिः. करेक्ट?
Correct.
ओके. तदो निवृत्तो प्रतिलब्धकामः स्वदीक्ष्णियम् आसाद्य पुनः स देवः शनैर्जितश्वासनिवृत्तसिद्धो निशीदतारूढसमाधियोगः.
First line after the comma, swadishnyam.
Okay. स्वदिष्ण्यम् आसाद्य. Okay. कालेन सोऽजः पुरुषाय शाभिप्रवृत्तयोगेन विरूढबोधः स्वयं तदन्तर्हृदयेव बाधम् अभस्यता पश्यद यन्न पूर्वम्.
You can stop there only.
Okay.
Vijay, are you able to do the other half? Vijay was on.
Sorry, just coming.
Vijay, you're able to do it or?
Yeah, I can do 23, yeah.
23, yeah.
Okay. मृणालकौरायत ते कौरायत शेषभोग पर्यङ्क एकं पुरुषं शयानं पनादपत्रायुधमूर्तरत्न युतिभिर्हतत्वान्तयुगान्तदो ये प्रेषां शिबन्तं हरितोपलात्रेः सन्त्या प्रेणीवे रुरुरुम मूर्ध्नः रत्नो तदारौषति सौमस्य वनश्रजो वेणुपुजाङ्घ्रिपाङ्घ्रेः.
The second line, Saumanasya.
सौमनस्य वनश्रजो वेणुपुजाङ्घ्रिपाङ्घ्रेः आयामतो स्वमानदेहेन लोकप्रिय संग्रहेण विचित्र दिव्याभरणां सुखानां हृदश्रिया पाश्रितवेषदेहं पुंसां स्वकामाय विविक्तमार्गैः हव्यर्चदां कामधुकाङ्घ्रिपद्मं प्रदर्शयन्तं कृपयानकेन्दु मयूगबिन्धाङ्कुलिचारुपत्रं मुखेन लोघातिहरस्मितेन परिस्फुरत्कुण्डलमण्डितेन शोणायितेनाधरबिम्बपासा प्रदर्ह्यर्हयन्तं सुनसेन सुप्रभा.
And the second line, and this after the comma, Pratyarhayantam, that word.
Pratyarhayantam sunasen suprava.
Subhrva, Subhrva, Subhrva.
Subhrva kadambha kinchalka vishangavasasa स्वलङ्कृतं मेघलया निदम्भे अरेण चानन्दधनेन वत्स श्रीवत्स वक्षस्थल वल्लभेन.
First word, Harena. Second name, first word, Harena Chananda. Harena, you said it's Harena.
Harena, okay. Harena Chandantadhanena vatsa Srivatsa Vakshastvala Vallabhena. Okay. Parartya Keyura Mani Preveka Parhyasta Dor Danda Sahasra Sakam Avyaktamulam Bhuvanangri Pentram Ahindra Bhogais Adivida Valsham.
And the first line, ஒரே ஒரு word மட்டும், Prabeka, after that word money.
Prevega Parhyasta. Okay. Yeah. Characharo ko Bhagavan Mahitram Ahindra Bandhum Shalilobagudam Kirida Sahasra Iranya Shringam Avirbhavat Kaustubha Ratna Karbam Nividam Amnaya Madhuvrida Shriya Swagirti Maya Vanamalaya Harim Suryenduvai Vaknyagamam Tridhamapihi Parikramat Pradhanikair Durasadam.
Pradha, and the last word, Pradhanikair.
Parikramat Pradhanikair Durasadam. Darhyeva Dannabhishara Sarojam Atmanam Ambasvasanam Vyacha Tadarsha Devo Jagado Vidhadhanadaha Param Loka Visarga Drishtihi.
Vidhata, from the comma. Tadarsha Devo Jagato Vidhata Nata Param.
Okay. Nada Param Loka Visarga Drishtihi. सकर्म बीजं रजसोबरक्तः प्रजा शुश्रूषन् यदेव दृष्ट्वा असौ विसर्गापि मुखस्तमीत्यम् अव्यक्तवर्तं मन्यविवेशितात्मा इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां तृतीयस्कन्धे अष्टमोऽध्यायः। श्री हरे नमः, श्री हरे नमः, श्री हरे नमः नमः। गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्द गोविन्द। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। अद तृतीयस्कन्ध नवमोऽध्यायः। ब्रह्मोवाच न्याधोषिमेध्य शुचिरान्ननु देहभाजां न ज्ञायते भगवतो गतिरित्यवत्यं नान्यत्वदस्ति भगवन्
First line. Jnatosi medyas suchirananudehebhajam.
Okay. न्याधोऽसि मेद्य सुशिरान्ननुदेहभाजां न ज्ञायते भगवतो कदिहित्यवक्त्यं नान्यत्वदस्ति भगवन् अपि तन्दसुक्तं माया गुणव्यधिकाधिकरात्यदुर्विपाशी रूपं यत्येतत् अवबोधर सोदयेन शस्वन् निवृत्त तमसत् अनुग्रहाय अदौ गृहीतम् अवतार सदैकबीजं यन्नाभिपद्म भवनादहम् आविरासम्.
The third line, first word, Adau. Okay, Adau Grihitam.
Adau Grihitam. Nadha भवदस्वरूपम् अनन्तमात्रम् अविकल्पम् अवित्तवर्चः पश्यामि विश्वसृजम् एकम् अविश्वमात्मन् भूतेन्द्रियात्मकम् अधस्त उभाश्रितोऽस्मि.
Two small corrections, Vijay. Second line, first word is Ananda. You said Ananda, Ananda. Okay. And then the last line, you said Bhutendriyatmakam Adasta. You can't break at that ma. It's Bhutendriyatmaka Madasta Upa.
Okay, in the book, okay, picture. Okay. Budhendriyatmaka madasta upashritosmi tatvaidam bhuvana mangala mangalaya dhyane sma no darshitam ta ubhasakanam tasmai namo bhagavate nu vidhema dupyam योनात्रुधो नरगपाभ्भिः असत् prasangaihi.
Bhagbir, anga visarga irudunaka, you just put a r there. So Bhagbir asat prasangaihi.
Bhagbir, okay. Asat prasangaihi edudvadiya charanambuja koshakantam jikranti karna vivarai shruti vadanitam bhaktya grahita charanaparaya तेषां नाभैषि नादहृदयां गुरु ஆத்ஸ்வபும்சாம். இன்னொன்னு இருக்கா? அவ்வளவுதான் இல்லையா?
We did 6, right? I thought we did 6. Yeah.
தாவத் பயம் பிரவீண கேஹ சுருன் நிமித்தம் சோகஸ்பృஹா பரிபவோ விபுலश्च லோபஹ தாவன் டியூன் தப்பு.
பண்ணுமா? I thought we did it.
இல்ல பண்ண மாதிரி இல்ல, நான் இது 5 வரைக்கும் தான் மார்க் பண்ணிருக்கேன். but that's okay.
இல்ல பண்ணினோம்.
I have
okay. I'll just chant that one stanza, which no worries. Tavad bayam dravina deha suhran nimittam shokaspruha paribhavo vipulascha lobah tavan mametya sadavagraha arti moolam yavannatengrimabhayam pravrinita lokah.
Rajesh, is the arti moolam or atarti moolam?
Avagraha arti moolam.
Okay.
Third line.
Hmm.
Okay.
And
All right.
Rajesh, the first line la you asked us to change the ma to the la may vandu denu solla sonnenilla.
Geha deha, I said.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was geha in some books. I said change it to deha for consistency.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we'll start. So what I'll do is let's do a quick 1 minute. I'll just kind of say where we are because in the stuti is anyway going to start, right? So in the last chapter, we kind of saw the first day of Brahma, a day of Brahma, not the first day, one of the days. And like we said, the only records which exist as the first day of the 51st year of Brahma. So that's what was happening there, where then he comes out of the Lord and then, he's then wondering who he is, where he has come from, all of that. Then he gets a vision of the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Once he gets a vision in his mind, he is also able to see the processes of what has transpired, how all the things have gone, and now he needs to create. So he's getting an idea. He's getting a vision on the blueprint of what needs to happen, right? And then the stuti is starting in 3.9. And in Bhagavatam, there are 108 stutis totally. In full Bhagavatam, 108 stutis which are there. We have seen, Kunti Stuti, we saw Bhishma Stuti, we saw Sri Shuka Stuti, we saw Brahma Stuti, which happened a little bit earlier. But this is so this is one of the big stuti. So this is the eighth stuti out of the 108. So we're just in number 8 of 108. And anytime somebody is doing a stuti, so if I pick any of you and say, describe your spouse or describe your child, you will be able to describe them well than anybody else, right? Because you know them really well, right? But if I tell you, go describe Mahavishnu right now, right? We will just start with Sahasranam because that's what we know, right? So we only know so much about the Lord, right? So depending on who is doing the stuti, the intensity of the stuti is going to be different because how well do you know that person? Amongst everybody in this universe, the person who knows Mahavishnu the most is Brahma because he's Swayam coming from Mahavishnu directly. He's immediately getting a darshan of the Lord and then he's doing a stuti, right? Which means the stuti that Brahma does is always very exhaustive and it is like very closely and tightly defining Bhagavan. Nobody else can do such a great stuti. Of course, Prahlada, Dhruva stuti, which is going to come, it is filled with a lot of devotion and love. But they cannot understand Bhagavan as much as Brahma can in terms of the power of Bhagavan. Because Brahma is the one experiencing all of that, right? And Bhagavan is going to tell him, okay, I'll tell you how to create. And he's going to tell everything about the creation. So that's why these Brahma stutis are generally like amazing. There's one more which is going to come later. But this is one of the big stuti that is coming, right? So again, I won't go through each stanza meaning. Some stanzas I'll tell, which are like nice stanzas, right? Which, at least we can understand. So, okay, so we'll start. Sindhuji, you can be student and Gopiji, you can be student. Let me see the time, 2:23. Okay. Stanza 7. Daivena te hatadiyo bhavatah prasangat, comma, sarvashubhopashamanat, one word, sarvashubhopashamanat vimukendriyaye kurvanti kama sukha lesha lavaya dinaha. Add a visarga there because we are going to put a comma, dinaha, comma, lobhabhibhuta Manaso Kushalani, one word. Manaso Kushalani Shashwat. So we'll just do one time today because it's what do you call a long chapter here. Daivena te hatadiyo bhavatah prasanghat sarva shubhopashamanad vimukhendriyaye kurvanti kama sukalesha lavaya dinaha lobhabhibhuta manaso kushalani shashwat.
देवेन देहदधियो भवदप्रसङ्गाद् सर्वाशुभोपशमनाद्विमुखेन्द्रियादे कुर्वन्ति कामसुगलेशलवाय दीनाः लोभाभिभूतमनसो कुशलानि शश्वत्
देवेन ते हदधियो भगवतः प्रसङ्गात् सर्वशुभोपशमनात् विमुखेन्द्रियाये कुर्वन्ति कामसुखलेशलवनाय दीनाः लोभाभिभूतमनसो कुशलानि शश्वत्.
Third line, Gopi.
Daivena or Devena?
Daivena.
Okay.
Third line, Gopiji. Kamasukha Lesha Lavaya Dinaha.
Okay, fine. Yeah, Lavaya. Thank you.
So just the sixth stanza, I think, which I didn't explain the meaning, I'll just kind of say that one thing which is very nice. So, Brahma says that all of us, if you ask somebody, what do you like the most in this world, right? People may say, I love my spouse more, I love this thing more. But at the end of the day, everybody likes them the most. And the reason for that is, if a person is standing there, if you don't see the face of the person and they ask you, do you love that person? You will say it depends, because I don't know who that person is. If the person turns and the person is your spouse, then you love that person because it's your spouse. But if it happens to be someone else, you don't love them as much, right? So you only love people who are directly connected to you, your extended family members. You like things which are yours, right? So no matter who you love, it's only if it is in association to you, right? You can look at everything that you like, and that's how it ends up being, right? It's always in association to you. That is because generally humanity, people love themselves the most, right? And they love their body the most, they love themselves the most. So here Brahma is saying that it is because people get so associated with themselves that everything around them which they are able to relate to themselves, they love it more. And until that happens, they will not truly love you, oh Bhagavan, right? And that's what is happening, right? Is if it's a pure soul, which is a spiritual soul, they will love Bhagavan the most. That's why when the Gopikas we'll see in Krishna Avataram, the Gopikas loved Krishna more than their own children, right? And the only time that switch happens is in Narayanam in Dashakam 52, when Krishna becomes their children, then they suddenly start liking their children also more than or equal to that Krishna, right? So that is the difference between a material soul and a spiritual soul, is who do you love the most? That's what Brahma is saying. Because of all of that, they are not able to love you the most, which is what they're supposed to be. So stanza 8, Kshutrit 3. So, okay, that easier way to say it will be Kshutrit 3, Dhatu Bhirima, Muhurardhyamanaha, Shitoshna, Vata, Varshair, Itaretaracha. We can break it that re as ir, Varshair, Itaretaracha, Kamagninachuta, Rusha, cha Sudurbharena, Sampashyato, Man Urukrama Sidate me. क्षुत्रिधातुभिरिमा मुहुरद्यमानाः शीतोष्णवातवर्षैरितरेतरा च कामाग्निना च्युतरुषा च सुदुर्भरेण सम्पश्यतो मन उरुक्रमसीदते मे.
क्षुत्रिधातुभिरिमा मुहुरर्द्यमानाः शीतोष्णवादवर्षैरिदिरेदराच्च कामाग्निनाच्युतरुषाज सुदुर्भरेण सम्पश्यतो मन उरुक्रमसीदते मे.
Rajesh, one question. In the first line, the third word, muhur kapram, there's a small ir, right? Muhur
Muhur
ardhyamana.
ardhyamanaha. Yeah. So the r, and then there's ir, muhur ardhyamanaha.
Thanks.
Rajesh, also, Varshai Rita Reta Rancha or Racha?
Ich, rachcha.
Ich and cha, it's not inj, right?
Yeah, the inner it will become a ch because of the ch coming later. So iterate tarach ch. Ich only. Ich and the full cha.
क्षुत्रिधृमा मुहुरर्द्यमानाः शीतोष्णवातवर्षैरितरेतराच्च कामाग्निनाच्युतरुषा च सुदुर्भरेण सम्पश्यतो मन उरुक्रमसीतते मे.
Yavat prita.
Rajesh, Sudur Bharena or Bhirena?
Sudur bharena. If you have a bhi, then change it. It's bharena.
Rajesh, quick question. On the second line, Cheetoshna, அது திருப்பி ஒரு வாட்டி சொல்ல முடியுமா?
Cheetoshna, Vata, Varshair,
Varashaira.
Should be Varashair, right? Shouldn't it is ver and a full R?
No.
So Varashair allava.
Varashair no aradu. Varshair. Varshair is the right word there. Varshair itaretaracha. At least in my book also, the ir is coming on top of that shai. That's what it is. And it's also referring to the weather, right? So Varsha is like, rain. So
Perfect. Thank you.
Yavat Pritaktvam, you can break it that me. Pritaktvam Idamatmana Indriyartha, put a plus. Maya Balam Bhagavato Jana Isha Pashyet. Tavanna Samsritirasau Pratisankrameta, Vyartapi Dukha Nivaham Vahati Kriyarta. यावत् पृथक्त्वमिदमात्मन इन्द्रियार्थमाया बलं भगवतो जन ईश पश्येत् तावन्न संसृतिरसौ प्रतिसङ्क्रमेत व्यक्तापि दुःखनिवहं वहति क्रियार्ता
यावत्प्रदक्त्वमिदमात्मन इन्द्रियार्थ मायाबलं भगवतो जन ईश पश्येद् तावन्न संसृतिरसौ प्रतिसङ्क्रमेद व्यर्थापि दुःखनिवहं वहति क्रियार्था
यावत् पृथक्त्वम् इदमात्मा इन्द्रियार्थमायाबलं भगवतो जन ईश पश्येत् तावन्न संसृतिरसौ प्रतिसङ्क्रमेत व्यर्थादि दुःखनिवहं वहति क्रियार्था.
Anya Pritartha, again that Anni, right? So it's half harder. Anya Pritartha Karana Nishi Nishayana, put a plus. Nana Manoratha Dhiya Kshana Bhagna Nidraha Daivahatartha, Dai sound, Daivahatartha Rachana Rishayopi Deva, Yushmat Prasanga Vimukha Iha Samsaranti. अन्यापृतार्थकरणा निशिनिश्चयाना नाना मनोरथधिया क्षणभग्ननिद्राः दैवाहतार्थरचना ऋषयोऽपि देव युष्मत्प्रसङ्गविमुखा इह संसरन्ति
अन्यावृतार्थकरणा निशिनिश्चयाना नाना मनोरथधिया क्षणभग्ननिद्राः दैवाहदार्थरजना ऋषयोऽपि देव युष्मत्प्रसङ्गविमुखा इह संसरन्ति
अन्यापृतार्थकरणानिशिनिश्चयाना नानामनोरथधिया क्षणभग्ननिद्राः देवाहदार्थरचना ऋषयोऽपि देव युष्मत्प्रसङ्गविमुखा इह संसरन्ति.
Gopiji, third line, first word, Daivahatartha.
Daivahatartha.
Yeah. Tvam Bhavayoga Paribhabita Hrit Saroje. Some books have Saroja. If you have Saroja, just put a Saroje, comma. Ase Shrutekshita Pato Nanu Nata Pumsam Yad Yadhiya Ta Urugaya Vibhavayanti, comma. Tat Tat Vapuf Pranayase Sadanugrahaya. Sadanugrahaya or Sadanugrahaya. Tvam Bhavayoga Paribhabita Hrit Saroje Ase Srutekshita Pato Nanunata Pumsam Yad Yadhiyata Urugaya Vibhavayanti Tat Tadvapav Pranayase Sadanugrahaya.
त्वं भावयोगपरिभावितहृत्सरोजे आसे श्रुतेक्षितपदो ननुनादपुंसां यद्यद्धियाद उरुगाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद्वपुप्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय
त्वं भावयोगपरिभावितहृत्सरोजे आसे श्रुते क्षिपथो ननुनाथपुंसां यद्यद्धियात उरुगाय विभावयन्ति तत्त्वद्दिपुः प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय.
Fourth line, first word, Gopiji, tat tadvapuh.
Tadvapuh.
Yeah. Nati prasidati tatopachitopacharaihi. That's one word. So tatopachitopacharaihi. The ra that is coming later, remove it, put a visarga, comma, charaihi, comma. Next word will start with the a. Aradhitas sura ganair hridi baddha kamaihi yat sarva bhuta dayayasat. The that is coming there, dayayasat, you can break it if you want. Dayayasat alabhyayeiko, comma, nana janeshvahitas suhrud antaratma. Again, that the, if you want to break it, suhrud antaratma. नाति प्रसीदति ततोपचितोपचारैः आराधितः सुरगणैर्हृदि बद्धकामैः यत्सर्वभूतदयया सदलभ्ययैको नानाजनेष्वहितः सुहृदन्तरात्मा.
नादिप्रसीदति ततोपचितोपचारैः आराधितः सुरगणैः हृदि बद्धकामैः यः सर्वभूतदयया सदलभ्ययैको नानाजनेष्वहितः सुहृदन्तरात्मा.
नातिप्रसीदति तथोपचितोपपारैः चारैः आराधितः सुरगणैर्हृदि बद्धकामैः यत्सर्वभूतदयया स अलभ्ययैको नानाजनेष्वहितः सुहृद् अन्तरात्मा.
पुंसा मतो विविध कर्मभिर, you can break it that ra, karmabhir advaradhyaihi, that is ir and a, so advaradhyaihi visargan comma there. Next line, danena, there is a ir that will go away. Danena chogra tapasa bratacharyaya आराधनम भगवतस् तव सत्क्रियार्थो, comma, धर्मोर्पितः कर्हिचित् ध्रियते न यत्र यत्सर्वभूतदयया सदलभ्ययैको नानाजनेष्वहितः सुहृदन्तरात्मा. पुंसामतो विविधकर्मभिरद्वराध्यैः दानेन चोग्रतपसा व्रतचर्यया च.
ராஜேஷ், குவிக்
Rajesh,
கொஸ்டின். அது
prior
பும்சா மத்தோன்னு போட்டிருக்கு. நீங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 12th படிச்சேன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
ஆமா
Oh,
ஆமா
you sang the wrong
so I
sloka.
was thinking, what happened? What did I do there? Because
13, number 13.
my book somehow it is like very weirdly arranged. My bad. Okay. Okay. So yeah.
ആരാധനം.
Pumsa matonu.
Aradhanam. Yeah. Aradhanam bhagavatas tava satkriyartho, comma, dharmorpitah karhichit driyatena yatra. Right. My bad. I read the wrong one.
The separation area தான் சொன்னேன்.
அல்ல பும்சாமத்தோலன்னு ஆரம்பிக்கிறது.
I know. My book somehow the way those two stanzas are arranged is difficult to hard. Anyway, पुंसामतो विविध कर्म बिरद्वराध्यैः दानेन चोग्र तपसा व्रतचर्यया च आराधनं भगवतस्तव सत्क्रियार्थो धर्मोर्पितः कर्हिचित् ध्रियते न यत्र.
ராஜேஷ், ஒரு குவிக் கொஸ்டின். அந்த தானேன சோக்ரன் கொடுத்துருக்கு, அங்க டிஃப்ரெண்டா இருக்கா? என் காதுல ஏதோ டிஃப்ரெண்டா விழுந்தது.
दानेन चोग्र तपसा.
ஓகே, பர்ஃபெக்ட்.
पुंसामदो विविधकर्मभिरध्वराद्यैः दानेन चोग्रतपसा व्रतचर्यया च आराधनं भगवतस्तव सत्क्रियार्थो धर्मोऽर्पितः कर्हिचित् ध्रियते न यत्र.
पुंसामतो विविधकर्मभिरध्वराद्यैः दानेन चोग्रतपसा व्रतचर्यया च आराधनं भगवतस्तव सत्क्रियार्थो धर्मोऽर्पितः कर्हिचित् ध्रियते न यत्र.
तश्वत् स्वरूप महसैव निपीत भेद put a plus मोहाय बोध दिशनाय नमः परस्मै विश्वोद्भव स्थिति लयेषु निमित्त लीला another plus रासाय ते नम इदं चक्रुमेश्वराय.
ராஜேஷ், one question. விஸ்வோத்பவ ஸ்திதின்னு போட்டிருக்கு, இஸ் இல்லையாங்க? நீங்க சொல்றச்ச இஸ் சொல்லல.
Oh, it's Sthiti. Vishwodbhava Sthiti.
Okay, thank you.
शश्वत्स्वरूपमहसैव निपीतभेदमोहाय बोधधिषणाय नमः परस्मै विश्वोद्भवस्थितिलयेषु निमित्तलीला रासाय ते नम इदं चकृमेश्वराय
शश्वत्स्वरूपमहसैव निबीधभेदमोहाय बोधधिषणाय नमः परस्मै विश्वोद्भवस्थितिलयेषु निमित्तलीला रासाय ते नम इदं चकृमेश्वराय
शश्वत्स्वरूपमहसैव नितीतभेदमोहाय बोधधिषणाय नमः परस्मै विश्वोद्भवस्थितिलयेषु निमित्तलीला रासाय ते नम इदं चकृमेश्वराय
यस्यावतार गुण कर्म विडम्बनानि शॉर्ट ई कॉमा नामानि येषु विगमे पिबशा गृह्णन्ति ते नैक जन्म शमलं सहसैव हित्वा कॉमा संयान्त्यपावृत that's one word संयान्त्यपावृत मृतं तमजं प्रपद्ये यस्यावतार गुणकर्म विडम्बनानि नामानि येषु विगमे विवशा गृह्णन्ति तेनैकजन्मशमलं सहसैव हित्वा संयान्त्यपावृतमृतं तमजं प्रपद्ये
यस्यावतारगुणकर्म विडम्बनानि नामानि येषु विगमे विवशा गृह्णन्ति तेनैकजन्मशमलं सहसैव हित्वा संयान्त्यपावृतमृतं तमजं प्रपद्ये
यस्यावतारगुणकर्मविडम्बनानि नामानि येषु विगमे विवशा गृह्णन्ति तेनैकजन्मशमलं सहसैव हित्वा संयान्त्यपावृतमृतं तमजं प्रपद्ये.
Here, Brahma is saying again, just example of Ajamila, which we're going to see later. He's saying that the one, saying again, every stanza is like offering a prostration, right? Offering a namaskaram. So he's saying, I'm offering namaskarams to you, whose, namani, name, or, all the activities and glories of you, whoever is able to chant at the time when he's quitting his life, like we say, Ante Narayana Smritihi, at the time of quitting his life, who is able to say, even accidentally, right, it washes away their sins, right? At that's a greatness. And again, we'll see that more in some examples later. Yova aham cha girishascha vibhus swayam cha, comma, stityudbhava pralaya hetava atma moolam भित्वा त्रिपाद ववृद्ध एक uru prarohah. So that is there, will go away. Uru prarohah, comma, tasmai namo bhagavate bhuvanadrumaya. यो वा अहं च गिरिशश्च विभुस्वयं च स्थित्युद्भव प्रलय हेतव आत्ममूलं भित्त्वा त्रिपाद् ववृध एक उरुप्ररोहः तस्मै नमो भगवते भुवनद्रुमाय.
यो वा अहं च गिरिशश्च विभुः स्वयं च स्थित्युद्भव प्रलयहेतव आत्ममूलं भित्त्वा त्रिपाद् ववृध एक उरुप्ररोहः तस्मै नमो भगवते भुवनद्रुमाय.
यो वा अहं च गिरिशश्च विभुः स्वयं च स्युद्भुद्भव प्रलयहेतव आत्ममूलं भित्त्वा त्रिपाद् ववृध एक उरुप्ररोहः तस्मै नमो भगवते भुवनद्रुमाय.
We'll just switch second half. Amuchichi, you can be a student, and Jayashree Shankar, you can be a student.
Rajesh, one question on the Bhitva Tripad Adirikala on the line. Adu Vriddhava, Vriddhava.
Vavruddha.
Vriddha, dane?
Double dha.
Okay, thank you.
Vavruddha. Loko vikarma niratah kushale pramattah, comma, karmanyayam twadudite bhavadarchane swe, yes, tavadasya balavaniha jivitasham, comma, sadhyash chinatya nimishaya, that's one word, chinatya nimishaya नमोऽस्तु तस्मै. लोको विकर्म निरतः कुशले प्रमत्तः कर्मण्ययं त्वदुदिते भवदर्चने स्वे यस्तावदस्य बलवानिह जीविताशां सद्यच्छिनत्य निमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै.
लोको विकर्म निरतः कुशले प्रमत्तः कर्मण्ययं त्वदुदिते भवदर्चने स्वे यस्तावदस्य बलवानिह जीविताशां सद्यश्चिनत्य निमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै.
लोको विकर्म निरतः कुशले प्रमत्तः कर्मण्ययं त्वदुदिते भवदर्चने स्वे यस्तावदस्य बलवानिह जीविताशां सद्यश्चिनत्तय निमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै.
The last line, chinatya.
सद्यश्चिनत्य निमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै.
Yasmat बिभेम्यहमपि, one word, बिभेम्यहमपि द्विपरार्ध दिष्ण्यं, put a im, दिष्ण्यं, comma. Next word, madhyasita becomes adhyasitas sakala loka namaskritam yat tepe tapo bahu savo varurutsamanaha. That's one word, savo varurutsamanaha, visarga, comma. Next time if you have is, that will go away. Tasmai namo bhagavate dhimakhaya tubhyam. So that bhagavate and adhimakhaya will kind of, come together. So here, it's Brahma himself is saying, that this is him saying that although I am the leader of the entire universe that is going to be formed, because everything that is going to happen from now on, Brahma is the boss, right? Like in the sense, he is the execution leader, right? He says, even though I am there and I am going to live for Dviparardha, the 100 years, right? First Parardha is 50, second Dviparardha is the second 50. So I'm going to live for the next 50 years. He says, even I have no choice but to surrender to you. So I myself am surrendering down to you, right? That's what he's saying, which essentially means that anybody who is coming later, you have no choice, right? That's what he's saying. Even though I have this power, I myself have to surrender to you. यस्माद्बिभेम्यहमपि द्विपरार्धदिष्ण्यम् अध्यासितः सकललोकनमस्कृतं यत् तेऽपि तपो बहुसभो वरुरुत्समानः तस्मै नमो भगवते धीमकाय तुभ्यम्.
यस्मद्बिभेम्यहमपि द्विपरार्धदिष्ण्यम् अध्यासितः सकललोकनमस्कृतं यत् तेऽपि तपो बहुसवो वरुरुत्समानः तस्मै नमो भगवते धीमकाय तुभ्यम्.
यस्माद्बिभेम्यहमपि द्विपरार्धदिष्ण्यम् अध्यासितः सकललोकनमस्कृतं यत् तेऽपि तपो बहुसवो वरुरुत्समानः तस्मै नमो भगवते धीमकाय तुभ्यम्.
तिर्यंग ing sound, तिर्यंग मनुष्य विबुधादिषु जीव योनिषु. So we're going to break that ish and va. That ish and va that you have there, jiva yonishu, comma. Next word will start with the a. Atmechayatma. Atmechayatma krita setu paripsayayah. Reme nirasta ratirapya varuddha. One word, ratirapya varuddha deha, visarga, comma. Next line, the is will go away. Tasmai namo bhagavate purushottamaya. तिर्यं मनुष्य विबुधादिषु जीवयोनिषु आत्मेच्छयात्मकृतसेतु परीप्सयायः रेमे निरस्तरतिरप्यवरुद्धदेहः तस्मै नमो भगवते पुरुषोत्तमाय.
तिर्यं मनुष्य विबुधादिषु जीवयोनिषु आत्मेच्छयात्मकृतसेतु परीप्सयायः रेमे निरस्तरतिरप्यवरुद्धदेहः तस्मै नमो भगवते पुरुषोत्तमाय.
तिर्यं मनुष्य विबुधादिषु जीवयोनिषु आत्मेच्छयात्मकृतसेतु परिप्सयायः रेमे निरस्तरतिरप्यवरुद्धदेहः तस्मै नमो भगवते पुरुषोत्तमाय
Yo vidyayanupahatopi. One word. It's yo avidyayanupahato api. But then because the S symbol is coming, whole thing is together. Dasharda vritya, comma. Nidramuvaha jatari krita loka yatraha. Antarjalehi kashipu sparshanu kulam, comma. Bhimormi malini janasya sukham vibrinvan. यो विद्ययानुपहतोऽपि दशार्धवृत्त्या निद्रामुवाह जठरीकृतलोकयात्रः अन्तर्जलैः कशिपुस्पर्शानुकूलां भीमोर्मिमालिनि जनस्य सुखं विबृण्वन्
यो विद्ययानुपहतो विदशार्धवृत्त्या निद्रामुवाह जठरीकृतलोकयात्रः अन्तर्जले हि कशिपुस्पर्शानुकूलां भीमोर्मिमालिनि जनस्य सुखं विवृण्वन्
यो विद्ययानुपहतोऽपि दशार्धवृत्त्या निद्रामुवाह जठरीकृतलोकयात्रः अन्तर्जले हि कशिपुस्पर्शानुकूलां भीमोर्मिमालिनि जनस्य सुखं विवृण्वन्
यन्नाभि पद्म Bhavanadaham, that word I'm just going to break it into two parts if you want. Bhavanadaham asamidya, comma, loka trayopakarano yadanugrahena, tasmai namasta udharasta bhavaya yoga, put a plus, nidravasana vikasan nalinekshanaya. यन्नाभि पद्मभवनादहमासमीड्य लोकत्रयोपकरणो यदनुग्रहेण तस्मै नमस्त उदरस्त भवाय योगनिद्रावसान विकसन्नलिनेक्षणाय
यन्नाभि पद्मभवनादहमासमीड्य लोकत्रयोपकरणो यदनुग्रहेण तस्मै नमस्त उदरस्त भवाय योगनिद्रावसान विकसन्नलिनेक्षणाय
यन्नाभि पद्मभवनादहमासमीड्य लोकत्रयोपकरणो यदनुग्रहेण तस्मै नमस्त उदरस्थ भवाय योग निद्रावसान विकसन्नलिनेक्षणाय.
Brahma is saying, even me getting born is also because of you willing, because of your mercy. I'm coming from your Nabhi and I'm being born right now to, continue with the creation. Soyam samasta jagatam suhrideka atma, satvena yan mridayate bhagavan bhagena te naiva me drisham anusprishatad. If you want to break it, atma, drisham anusprishatad yathaham, srakshyami purva vadidam pranata priyosau. Soyam samasta jagatam suhrideka atma satvena yan mridayate bhagavan bhagena tenaiva me drisham anusprishatat yathaham srakshyami purva vadidam pranata priyosau.
सोऽयं समस्तजगदां सुहृदेक आत्मा सत्त्वेन यन्मृडयते भगवान् भगेन तेनैव मे दृशमनुस्पृशदाद्यथाहं स्रक्ष्यामि पूर्ववदिदं प्रणतप्रियोऽसौ.
सोऽयं समस्तजगतां सुहृदेक आत्मा सत्त्वेन यन्मृडयते भगवान् भगेन तेनैव मे दृशमनुस्पृशताद्यथाहं स्रक्ष्यामि पूर्ववदिदं प्रणतप्रियोऽसौ.
एष प्रपन्न बरदो रमयात्म शक्त्या, यत् यत् करिष्यति गृहीत गुणावतारः तस्मिन् स्व विक्रममिदं सृजतोऽपि चेतो, युञ्जीत कर्म शमलं च यथा विजह्याम्. एष प्रपन्नवरदो रमयात्मशक्त्या यद्यत् करिष्यति गृहीतगुणावतारः तस्मिन् स्वविक्रममिदं सृजतोऽपि चेतो युञ्जीत कर्मशमलं च यथा विजह्याम्
एष प्रपन्नवरदो रमयात्मशक्त्या यद्यत् करिष्यति गृहीतगुणावतारः तस्मिन् स्वविक्रममिदं सृजतोऽपि चेतो युञ्जीत कर्मशमलं च यदा विजह्याम्
एष प्रपन्नवरदो रमयात्मशक्त्या यद्यत् करिष्यति गृहीतगुणावतारः तस्मिन् स्वविक्रममिदं सृजतोऽपि चेतो युञ्जीत कर्मशमलं च यथा विजह्याम्
Rajesh,
नाभि
line Shaktya படிக்கணுமா சக்தியாவா சக்தியாவா
இந்த வேர்டு
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லைன்ல
शक्त्या
யாவா
इक् and या शक्त्या
ஓகே சக்தியான்னு போட்டிருக்கீங்க
okay शक्त्या a it ends with an a there
எங்கேயும் சக்தியா தானே போட்டிருக்கோம் நம்ம புக்ல.
okay just change it to it will be atma shaktya the akaram it ends with that नाभि ह्रदादिह सतोम्भसि यस्य पुंसो comma विज्ञान the next word shaktir aham asam ananta if you want to break it shaktir aham asam ananta shaktehe रूपम विचित्रम इदमस्य बिबृण्वतो मे कमा मा रीरिशिष्ट निगमस्य गिरां विसर्गः नाभिह्रदादिह सतोम्भसि यस्य पुंसो विज्ञानशक्तिरहमासमनन्तशक्तेः रूपं विचित्रमिदमस्य बिबृण्वतो मे मा रीरिशिष्ट निगमस्य गिरां विसर्गः
नाभिह्रदादिह सतोऽम्बसि यस्य पुंसो विज्ञानशक्तिरहमासमनन्तशक्तेः रूपं विचित्रमिदमस्य विवृण्वतो मे मारीरिशिष्टनिगमस्य गिरां विसर्गः
नाभिहृदादिह सतोऽम्बसिरः यस्य पुंसो विज्ञानशक्तिर्हम आसमनन्तशक्ति
that ir you break it as ir vijnana shaktir ahamasam
ahamasam okay विज्ञानशक्तिरहमासमनन्तशक्तेः रूपं विचित्रमिदमस्य विवृण्वतो मे मारीरिशिष्ट how do you say that मारीरिशिष्ट निगमस्य गिरां विसर्गः
so savadabhra one word karuno bhagavan bibruddha put a plus prema smithena nayanamburuham vijrumbhan uttaya vishwa vijayaya cha no vishadam comma madhya girapanayatat that's one word girapanayatat purushah puranah so savadabhakaruno bhagavan bibruddha prema smithena nayanamburuham vijrumbhan उत्थाय विश्व विजयाय च नो विषादं माध्व्यागिरापनयतात् पुरुषः पुराणः
तो सावदभ्रकरुणो भगवान् विवृद्ध प्रेमस्मितेन नयनाम्बुरुहं विजृम्भन् उत्थाय विजयाय च नो विषादं माध्व्यागिरापनयतात् पुरुषः पुराणः
सोऽसावदभ्रकरुणो भगवान् विवृद्ध प्रेमस्मितेन नयनाम्बुरुहं विजृम्भन् उत्थाय विश्वविजयाय च नो विषादं माध्व्यागिरापणयतात् पुरुषः पुराणः.
This ends the stuti of Brahma. We'll do some more stanzas and I'll say the meaning of the rest of the stuff. Maitreyo vacha swasambhavam nisham yaivam, comma tapo vidya samadhibihi yavan mano vachas stutva, comma viraramasa khinnavat. Maitreyo vacha
விரராம சன் கொடுத்துருக்கு Okay, okay.
Okay. Viraramasa Kinnavat. Maitreyo vacha swasambhavam nishamyevam tapo vidya samadhibihi yavan mano vachastutva viraramasa Kinnavat.
मैत्रेय उवाच स्वसम्भवं निशाम्यैवं तपो विद्यासमाधिभिः यावन्मनोवजस्तुत्वा विररामसखिन्नवत्
मैत्रेयोवाच स्वसम्भवं निशाम्यैवं तपो विद्यासमाधिभिः यावन्मनोवचस्तुत्वा विररामसखिन्नवत्.
Nisham, and the first line just before the comma, Nisham Yaivam.
निशां यैवम्.
Yeah. Athabhipretam anvikshya. You can break it that ma. Athabhipretam anvikshya, comma. Brahmano madhusudanah vishanna chetasam tena, comma. Kalpa vyatikaram bhasa. Athabhipretamannvikshya brahmano madhusudanah vishanna chetasam tena kalpavyatikaram bhasa.
अथाभिप्रेतमन्वीक्ष्य ब्रह्मणो मधुसूदनः विषण्णचेतसं तेन कल्पव्यतिगराम्भसा
अथाभिप्रेतमन्वीक्ष्य ब्रह्मणो मधुसूदनः विषण्णचेतसं तेन कल्पव्यतिकराम्भसा.
Loka samsthana vijnani. Again, some books may have vijnana. We have vijnana, make it vijnane, comma. Atmanah parikidhyatah tamaha gadhaya. One word. Tamaha gadhaya vacha, comma. Kashmalam shamayanniva. लोकसंस्थानविज्ञाने आत्मनः परिखिद्यतः तमाह गाधया वाचा कश्मलं शमयन्निव.
लोकसंस्थानविज्ञाने आत्मनः परिखिद्यतः तमाहागाधया वाचा कश्मलं शमयन्निव.
लोकसंस्थानविज्ञाने आत्मनः परिखिद्यतः तमाहागाधया वाचा कश्मलं शमयन्निव.
श्री भगवानुवाच मा वेद गर्भ गास्तन्द्रीं, सर्ग उद्यमम् आवह तन्मयापादितं, one word, तन्मयापादितं ह्यग्रे, यन्मां प्रार्थयते भवान्. श्री भगवानुवाच मा वेद गर्भगास्तन्द्रीं सर्ग उद्यममावह तन्मयापादितं ह्यग्रे यन्मां प्रार्थयते भवान्.
श्रीभगवानुवाच मा वेदगर्भगास्तन्द्रीं सर्ग उद्यममावह तन्मयापातितं ह्यग्रे यन्मां प्रार्थयते भवान्.
श्रीभगवानुवाच मा वेदगर्भगास्तन्द्रीं सर्ग उद्यममावह तन्मयापादितं ह्यग्रे यन्मां प्रार्थयते भवान्.
Okay, we'll switch. I think. Let me see who I had. Kannan, you can be student, and Jay Sriram, you can be student. Bhuyastvam tapa atishtha, vidyam chaiva madashrayam tabhyam antar. If you want to break it, tabhyam antar hridi brahman, lokan drakshyasya pavritan. One word, cannot break it. Bhuyastvam tapa atishtha vidyam chaiva madashrayam ताभ्याम अंतर्हृदि ब्रह्मन् लोकान् द्रक्ष्यस्य पावृतान्.
भूयस्वं तपातिष्ठ विद्यां चैव मदाश्रयान् ताभ्याम् अन्तर्हृदि ब्रह्मन् लोकान् द्रक्ष्यस्य पावृतान्.
भूयस्त्वं तप आदिष्ट विद्यां चैव मदाश्रयां ताभ्याम् अन्तर्हृदि ब्रह्मन् लोकान् द्रक्ष्यस्य पावृतान्.
तत आत्मनि लोके च, भक्ति युक्तः समाहितः द्रष्टासि मां ततं ब्रह्मन् कॉमा मयि लोकांस्त्वमात्मनः तत आत्मनि लोके च भक्तियुक्तः समाहितः द्रष्टासि मां ततं ब्रह्मन् मयि लोकांस्त्वमात्मनः
तत आत्मनि लोके च भक्तियुक्तः समाहितः द्रष्टासि मां ततं ब्रह्मन् मयि लोकां त्वमात्मनः
मयि लोकां and the is sound is coming मयि लोकां
द्रष्टासि मां ततं ब्रह्मन् मयि लोकां त्वमात्मनः
तदा आत्मनि लोके च भक्तियुक्तः समाहितः द्रष्टासि मां तदं ब्रह्मन् मयि लोकांस्त्वमात्मनः
यदा तु सर्वभूतेषु दारुष्वग्निम् इव स्थितं प्रतिचक्षीत मां लोको जह्यात् तर्हेव so इत्तण्डथा जह्यात् तर्हेव कश्मलम् यदा तु सर्वभूतेषु दारुष्वग्निमिव स्थितं प्रतिचक्षीत मां लोको जह्यात् तर्ह्येव कश्मलम्
यदा तु सर्वभूतेषु दारुष्वग्निमिव स्थितं प्रतिचक्षीत मां लोको जह्यात्तर्ह्येव कश्मलम्.
The second line after the comma, jahyat.
Oh, jahyattarhyeva kashmalam.
यदा तु सर्वभूतेषु तारुष्वग्निमिव स्थितं प्रदिक्षक्षीद मां लोको जह्यात्तर्ह्येव कश्मलम्.
यदा रहितम् आत्मानं भूतेन्द्रिय गुणाशयैः स्वरूपेण मयोपेतं पश्यन् स्वाराज्यं रिच्छति. You can break it that स्वाराज्यं रिच्छति. यदा रहितमात्मानं भूतेन्द्रियगुणाशयैः स्वरूपेण मयोपेतं पश्यन् स्वाराज्यं रिच्छति.
यदा रहितमात्मानं भूतेन्द्रियगुणाशयैः स्वरूपेण मयोपेतं पश्यन् स्वराज्यं रिच्छति.
यदा रहितमात्मानं भूतेन्द्रियगुणाशयैः स्वरूपेण मयोपेतं पश्यन् स्वाराज्यं रुच्यति.
नाना कर्म वितानेन प्रजा बह्वीः सिसृक्षतः नात्मावसीदत्यस्मिंस्ते. That word you cannot break it, so it's one whole word. नात्मावसीदत्यस्मिंस्ते वर्षीयान् मदनुग्रहः. नाना कर्म वितानेन प्रजा बह्वीः सिसृक्षतः नात्मावसीदत्यस्मिंस्ते वर्षीयान् मदनुग्रहः.
नाना कर्म वितानेन प्रजा बह्वीः सिसृक्षतः नात्मावसीदत्यस्मिंस्ते वर्षीयान् मदनुग्रहः.
नाना कर्म विधानेन प्रजा बह्वीः सिसृक्षतः नात्मावसीदत्यस्मिंस्ते वर्षीयान् मदनुग्रहः.
ऋषिम् आद्यं न बध्नाति पापीयां त्वां रजोगुणः यन्मनो मयि निर्बद्धं प्रजाः संसृजतोऽपि ते. ऋषिमाद्यं न बध्नाति पापीयां त्वां रजोगुणः यन्मनो मयि निर्बद्धं प्रजाः संसृजतोऽपि ते.
ऋषिमाद्यं न बध्नाति पापीयां स्वां रजोगुणः यन्मनो मयि निर्बद्धं प्रजा संसृजतोऽपि ते.
ऋषिम् आत्यं न पत्नादि भाबीयां स्वां रजो गुणः यन्मनोमयि निर्बद्धं प्रजा संसृजतोऽपि ते
ज्ञातोऽहं भवता त्वद्य दुर्विज्ञेयोऽपि देहिनां यन्मां त्वं मन्यसे युक्तं one word मन्यसे युक्तं भूतेन्द्रिय गुणात्मभिः ज्ञातोऽहं भवता त्वद्य दुर्विज्ञेयोऽपि देहिनां यन्मां त्वं मन्यसे युक्तं भूतेन्द्रियगुणात्मभिः
ज्ञातोऽहं भवता त्वद्य दुर्विज्ञेयोऽपि देहिनां यन्मां त्वं मन्यसे युक्तं भूतेन्द्रियगुणात्मभिः
ज्ञातोऽहं भवदा त्वत्य दुर्विज्ञेयोऽपि देहिनां यन्मां त्वं मन्यसे युक्तं भूतेन्द्रियगुणात्मभिः
Tubhyam mat vichikitsayam. So that ma that is coming there, we're going to break it. Mat vichikitsayam, comma. Next word starts with the a. Atma me darshito bahihi. Nalena salile moolam, comma. Pushkarasya vichinvatah. तुभ्यं मद्विचिकित्सायाम् आत्मा मे दर्शितो बहिः नालेन सलिले मूलं पुष्करस्य विचिन्वतः
तुभ्यं मद्विचिकित्सायाम् आत्मा मे दर्शितो बहिः नालेन सलिले मूलं पुष्करस्य विचिन्वतः
तुभ्यं मत् विचिकित्सायाम् आत्मा मे दर्शितो बहिः नालेन सलिले मूलं पुष्करस्य विचिन्वदः
यच् छकर्थांग मत् स्तोत्रम मत् कथाभ्युदयांकितम one word मत् कथाभ्युदयांकितम so that's one word you cannot break it यद्वा तपसि ते निष्ठा स एष मदनुग्रहः so all of this is Bhagavan is telling so I'll tell you the meaning later but you see the word anugraha is coming at every point that mad anugraha saying it's because of me all of this thing is happening यच्चकर्ताङ्गमत्स्तोत्रं मत्कथाभ्युदयाङ्कितं यद्वा तपसि ते निष्ठा स एष मदनुग्रहः
यच्चकार्ताङ्गमत्स्तोत्रं मत्कथाभ्युदयाङ्कितं यद्वा तपसि ते निष्ठा स एष मदनुग्रहः
यच्चगर्ताङ्गमत्स्तोत्रं मत्कदाभ्युदयाङ्कितं यत्वा तपसि ते निष्ठा स एष मदनुग्रहः
प्रीतोऽहमस्तु भद्रं ते लोकानां विजयेच्छया यदस्तौषीर्गुणमयं निर्गुणं मानुवर्णयन् प्रीतोऽहमस्तु भद्रं ते लोकानां विजयेच्छया यदस्तौषीर्गुणमयं निर्गुणं मानुवर्णयन्
प्रीतोऽहमस्तु भद्रं ते लोकानां विजयेच्छया यदस्तौष्णीर्गुणमयं निर्गुणं मानुवर्णयन्
second and first word यदस्तौषीर्गुणमयं
यदस्तौषीर्गुणमयं निर्गुणं मानुवर्यन् वर्णयन् sorry
प्रीतोऽहम् अस्तु भद्रं ते लोकानां विजयेच्छया यदस्तौषीर्गुणमयं निर्गुणं मानुवर्णयन्
य एतेन पुमान् नित्यं स्तुत्वा स्तोत्रेण मां भजेत् तस्याशु सम्प्रसीदेयं सर्वकामवरेश्वरः य एतेन पुमान् नित्यं स्तुत्वा स्तोत्रेण मां भजेत् तस्याशु सम्प्रसीदेयं सर्वकामवरेश्वरः
एतेन पुमान् नित्यं स्तुत्वा स्तोत्रेण मां भजेत् तस्याशु सम्प्रसीदेयं सर्वकामवरेश्वरः
य एतेन पुमान् नित्यं स्तुत्वा स्तोत्रेण मां भजेत् तस्यासु सम्प्रसीदेयं सर्वकामवरेश्वरः
पूर्तेन तपसा यज्ञैः विसर्गा comma. Next line, next word, danair, there's a ir that is on top of the that will go away. Danair yoga samadhina radham nishreyasam pumsam, comma, mat pritis tattva vinmatam. पूर्तेन तपसा यज्ञैः दानैर्योगसमाधिना राद्धं निःश्रेयसं पुंसां मत्प्रीतिस्तत्त्वविन्मतम्.
पूतेन तपसा यज्ञैः दानैर्योगसमाधिना राद्धं निःश्रेयसं पुंसां मत्प्रीतिस्तव तत्त्वविन्मतम्
पूर्तेन तपसा यज्ञैः तानैर्योगसमाधिना रात्तं निःश्रेयसं पुंसां मत्प्रीतिस्तत्त्वविन्मदम्
अहमात्मात्मनाम्, अहमात्मा आत्मनां, but combined together, अहमात्मात्मनां धातः, प्रेष्टः सन् प्रेयसामपि अतो मयि रतिं कुर्यात्, देहाधिर्यत्कृते प्रियः. अहमात्मात्मनां धातः प्रेष्टः सन् प्रेयसामपि अतो मयि रतिं कुर्यात् देहादिर्यत्कृते प्रियः. இன்னும் மூணு வரும் ஆத்மா. So this is அகமாத்மாத்மனாம்.
சாப்பாடு உள்ள போனா வார்த்தை வர மாட்டேங்குது. அகமாத்மனாத்மானம் தாத்தः प्रेष्टः सन् प्रेयसामपि अतो मयि रतिं कुर्यात् देहादिर्यत्कृते क्रियः.
अहमात्मात्मनं नादः प्रेष्टः सन् प्रेयसामपि अतो मयि रतिं कुर्यात् देहादिर्यत्कृते प्रियः.
Just in the first one, atmatmanam.
अहमात्मात्मनां, correct?
Yeah. Okay. Sarva veda mayenedam, comma, the im, we're going to break it, im. Next word starts with R. Now this time it's going to, three atmas are going to come together and you have to say it together because it has symbol. So that's why I said the first line was 2, this is like 3. Sarva veda mayenedam, atmanatmatma, atmanatmatma yonina प्रजा सृज यथा पूर्वं, याश्च मय्यनुशेरते. सर्ववेदमयेनेदम् आत्मनात्मात्मयोनिना प्रजा सृज यथा पूर्वं याश्च मय्यनुशेरते.
सर्ववेदमयेनेदम् आत्मनात्मात्मयोनिना प्रजासृज यथा पूर्वं याश्च मय्यनुशेरते.
सर्ववेदमयेनेदम् आत्मनात्मात्मयोनिना प्रजासृज यथा पूर्वं याश्च मय्यनुचेरते.
No, cha, you are saying it sha. मय्यनुशेरते.
Oh, मय्यनुशेरते.
मैत्रेयो वाच तस्मा एवं जगत् सृष्टे, प्रधान पुरुषेश्वरः व्यज्येदं स्वेन रूपेण, खञ्ज नाभस्तिरोधते. मैत्रेयो वाच तस्मा एवं जगत् सृष्टे प्रधान पुरुषेश्वरः व्यज्येदं स्वेन रूपेण कञ्जनाभस्तिरोधते.
मैत्रेय उवाच तस्मा एवं जगत् सृष्टे प्रधान पुरुषेश्वरः व्यज्येदं स्वेन रूपेण कञ्चनाभस्तिरोददे
मैत्रेयोवाच तस्मा एवं जगत्श्रेष्ठे प्रधानपुरुषेश्वरः व्यज्येदं स्वेन रूपेण कञ्चनाभस्तिरोदिदे
Irodhade.
कञ्चनाभस्तिरोददे.
Najesh, first line before the comma. Jagat Trashte.
Jagat Srashte.
Yeah. Srashte. इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां तृतीयस्कन्धे नवमोऽध्यायः.
ராஜேஷ் அந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லைன்ல வந்து ஜெகத் ஸ்ரஷ்டேவா
Srashtre, yeah, yeah.
इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां तृतीयस्कन्धे नवमोऽध्यायः.
इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां तृतीयस्कन्धे नवमोऽध्यायः.
Okay, so we have about 9 minutes, right? So we'll kind of do the meaning. So the stuti is over. That was over in 25, right? So we'll kind of continue from there. So the Maitreya is telling the Vidura the story, right? Inside which this is embedded. So he's saying, this way Brahma, he sees the Bhagavan, and then, he's meditating, he does the stuti. And then, when he's looking, like we said, the bud of the lotus which came from the Nabi, because it is another new day, right? Which means that the God doesn't have to create everything from scratch. It is all there, but has come, which Brahma has to now, like we said, we saw sometime earlier, disperse it like a farmer, right? He has to do the job. He has to still do the execution job. But Brahma is still looking at it and he's thinking, there's still so much work that needs to be done. Because all of it was gone, now it has all come back, but still Brahma has to do the work, right? So he's getting a little afraid of how am I going to be able to do all this work, right? So he's kind of thinking in his mind that this is actually a lot of work that is there. So that is the time as Brahma is contemplating at the time. That's when Sri Bhagavan Vacha. So that's when the God Bhagavan then responds to Brahma's stuti, right? Of course, he says that, first he clarifies Brahma by saying, do not worry, because what you want to know from me, which is how to go about doing this act of creation, is not the first time you have asked me. So like we said, Brahma has forgotten that he already had this information before. But Bhagavan comes and says, no, this is not the first time you're asking. I've already given you this knowledge in your past kalpas, in your other days. Similarly, this knowledge, it's my responsibility to give you that knowledge. So you don't worry about doing this thing, right? You're going to do it, and I'm going to give you the necessary knowledge to be able to do it, right? And he says, just like how you meditated upon me to be able to understand me, he says, similarly, you continue and do more meditation. The knowledge is actually available within you. When I made you, O Brahma, I already embedded that knowledge in you to be able to do this. Right? Otherwise, I wouldn't have created you. So that is the important thing, right? When we go through various challenges or any problems, you kind of relate to this, right? If you are given a challenge, if you cannot overcome that challenge, you wouldn't have gotten that challenge to begin with. So have that fundamental understanding all the time. We have to realize, right? You wouldn't get a challenge if you cannot overcome it. You just don't know how to overcome it, which is exactly the situation that Brahma is facing, which Bhagavan is saying, don't worry. You actually have the knowledge for this. So the way what I want you to do is I want you to go and meditate a little bit more. By meditating a little bit more, you will have access to that information which will tell you how to overcome this challenge of this creation which you are struggling on. And then he says, Bhagavan says a few things. He says that as you are doing this, you have to realize that you have to see me, Bhagavan, in every single entity that you are actually creating in this universe at the same time, which is kind of similar to the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, but he doesn't exactly repeat the same thing. But he says, you have to see me in every single layer. At the same time, you have to realize that I'm also outside of all of those things. But I am there in every single thing, right? And he says, only by realizing this, he says, you are not going to be attached to this. Because in Narayanam also, Brahma will say, give me the Dvaitam, Advaitam knowledge. So give me the knowledge of Advaitam. So I know you are the same person who is in every single thing. At the same time, you have to give me the knowledge of duality So I can create individual beings, individual things, right, which are existing as well. So you need to have both that knowledge. If Brahma only has a knowledge of Dvaitam like we all have, then he's not going to get liberated. He's going to get bound by the karma of creation. So he has to have that Advaitam knowledge, so he doesn't get attached to this creation and attached to all these material things, right? So that's what Brahma is asking also, and Bhagavan is also saying you will get both the Dvaitam knowledge and the Advaitam knowledge. So you are not actually bound by any of these things. And then in some of these things, he'll say that, you getting created, or Brahma, is because of my desire, number one. And two, you doing this work of creation is also my desire for you to do the creation, right? So later on, we'll kind of see that when the Sanat Kumaras come and when the others come, they may not want to create. Okay, so that doesn't mean that they are not doing the necessary duty, right? It is that each one will service the Lord in different ways. The Bhagavan has created Brahma to do the job of creation. So Brahma, even though whether he likes it or he doesn't like it, he wants to do creation. That's a different point. But whether he likes it or he doesn't like it, he has to take it up as, this is Bhagavan's mercy for me to do the process of creation. That's why he has created me. So I have to go execute my duty, whether I like it or not like it. Brahma also wants to create. That's a different thing. But that's what Bhagavan is telling him is, I have created you. It's because of my blessings that you are created. It's because of my blessings that you are able to see me within, not physically, right? See me within. It's because of my blessings that you are having this knowledge. And it's only because of my blessings that you are going to be able to create. So he says, don't worry about it and don't stop, right? Continue the process of doing this creation, right? So that he says. And then let me see what other important points here. And then he also, Bhagavan also says one thing, saying that that he is beyond this material things that we think of, the Panchabhutam and all of that what we said, right? When we say he's beyond that, what he's really saying is that when later on, and the reason we keep emphasizing this thing, that he's beyond all this, beyond all this, beyond all this, is later on when we see Krishna Avataram, and when we see Krishna Avataram and Krishna is standing next to Gopikas, right? And some Gopikas may love Krishna, right? And Krishna will go hug the Gopikas, right? We have to realize that the spiritual body of the Bhagavan is not bound by any of these things, right? So we cannot associate him with the material characteristics that we have, which is we have our gross body, we have the five senses, we can feel things when somebody touches us, right? We can hear things. So Bhagavan is beyond all of those things. That's why he keeps thinking is he keeps emphasizing that, right? That's why all of this is important fundamentals, right? Because later on, we cannot say, oh, how is this person doing this? Is that not right? Because he's beyond all of those senses, beyond all of those things, and all the actions are completely spiritual in nature, which is what again he is telling about Brahma also. And then at the very end, at some point, where he says, Nalena Salile Moolam Pushkarasya Vishinvataha 37, he says that when you were going and trying to find out how you came about, he says, you came from me, right? You came from me, your knowledge also came from me. And it is me who manifested in your vision, right? So when you are wondering who, just like how Narada got the vision of the Lord, right? And that is a very important thing, right? Which we have to always realize. And you might have had personal experiences. I also do always, is sometimes when you sit and pray and you close your eyes, a certain form of the Lord just comes in your mind. Like if you want to think of how Guruvayurappan is in Guruvayur, sometimes you close your eyes and the vision just comes like this, right? And sometimes no matter how much you try, that vision will not come, right? Which is what happened to Narada. That's why here Bhagavan is telling Brahma also, you got that vision only when you are ready to get that vision. And it is only because of my mercy that you are getting that vision, right? So do not physically try to do it, right? You will just come if you have the necessary blessings out of God, which is, and he says, Pritohamastu Bhadraante. He says, I'm very pleased with what you have done, Brahma, with the stuti you have done. And then he says, in the 40th stanza, yetena puma nityam stutva stotrena mam bhajet. He says, because this is such a great stuti that you have done, whoever chants this, whoever worships this every day, right? With devotion, we'll have the necessary blessings and we'll be able to overcome all the desires and everything. That's why the Brahma Stuti, like I said, is always very powerful because it is given by Brahma. Like in Devi Mahatmya also, Brahma does the Ratri Suktam, is Brahma's prayer to Devi, right? Anytime Brahma is doing, it's always very powerful. And so that's why this thing comes to an end saying that he says the purpose of everything, as long as people realize that the purpose of Purtena tapasa, yajnehi, danehi, yogaihi, all of these things that you are doing, if you realize the purpose of this is to serve me, then it will be worth it. Then you are in the right direction, right? Otherwise, you're doing it for other purposes, which will have other benefits anyway. So with that, the conversation comes to an end. Brahma is ready to get started, and Maitreya is telling Vidura, with this, Bhagavan disappears from Brahma's mind and vision. So Brahma can then get going on his process there. Shri Hare Namaha, Shri Hare Namaha, Shri Hare Namaha. Gopika Jeevana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. I'll quickly stop the recording.